Hello, hello. Welcome. This is Samir again with one more Facebook Live. Um, we are going to talk about messenger bots, and we'll continue to I'll continue to show you and train you how you can build messenger bots for your business. So far, to recap a little bit, what we have done is I have um, talked about how to start the process of building a messenger bot, how you need to have a Facebook business page in order to build a messenger bot, how to connect with the Facebook business page, how to set up the initial conversations, like how to have a welcome message, a greetings of the sorts. Welcome if you're joining. Say hello if you're joining this live, or if you're watching this replay. Um, Say hello in comments or ask questions. And I was saying I'm doing a little recap of what I've done so far. I have shown how to start building the Facebook Messenger bots, how to set up the initial messages, the welcome message. That's the first thing a bot sends out, or the first message that the bot uses when a person starts the conversation. We have also taught our bot some simple words, how to respond to simple words. And we have been talking about conversational flows and sequences, how to teach the bot to carry out a conversational flow, or how to define a conversation with the bot. And we also discussed sequences. Sequences are nothing else but a series of conversational flows which are separated by time offsets. So one flow kind of starts on the first day, the second flow can start a few hours after the first flow or a few days after the first flow, and so on and so forth. The other thing we started talking about was broadcast messages. So when people start engaging with the messenger bot, they are subscribed to the bot. In that sense, the bot is very much like a newsletter. People get subscribed to the bot list, you can say, just like email list. And if people are subscribed to your bot, the bot can only send out messages to the subscribers. So people have to be subscribed to your bot in order for your bot to send messages or try to interact with people. The bot cannot send messages to someone who is not subscribed to the bot. And the way for the people to subscribe to the bot is they have to go to the messenger for that Facebook business page, and people have to either click a button within a messenger or type in something in the text box. People have to have taken some action in order for them to subscribe. Only once people have taken action, they are subscribed, and then the bot has the permission to send message. And people can always easily unsubscribe from that bot by typing unsubscribe or stop. So broadcast is, as the name suggests, it's a broadcast message that can be sent to bot subscribers, and it can be very powerful, very helpful. It can be easily abused, because that's the way to reach out to people on your list, and you want to be careful. You want to use it judiciously. You don't want to kind of overuse it. So, like in one of the previous live, I was mentioning Facebook has some kind of terms of service requirements about broadcast, some special requirements on how and when you can send broadcasts. the broadcast can be sent out when there is a newsworthy event. So you have some news item, and then you can let your subscribers know about broadcasts. People have been using broadcast to invite people to events, and you have to be careful. So if you are subscribed to other people's messenger bots, you might have seen requests that, requests like the person is going live, the business owner is going live, and then you can either get a reminder or they are inviting you to join them on the live. And you have to be careful because it's you want to make sure that it's you have to ask whether is there a newsworthy event happening. First of all, you don't want to send out broadcast messages if there's no newsworthy events. Actually, there are three categories. Facebook kind of lists that there are three types of circumstances where you can send broadcasts, and the news is one, and there are other two which I'll talk about in one of the other videos. So make sure that there is really a newsworthy event or that's happening, and then you can send a broadcast in context of that event. So let's kind of jump in and let's kind of go through how you might use the broadcast feature. So I'm going to switch to screen sharing, and so there are a couple of ways you can do broadcast. You can, let's say you have an event happening, and let's say event is happening soon, or you may send the broadcast like few minutes before the event is happening. Again, positioning the broadcast as a newsworthy message first, the message that you're sending out because you have something new happening. And you definitely want to ask whether they are interested in learning more about that news event or not. And then you can say, for example, let's say you have an event happening at 2 p.m. and you can send a broadcast like few minutes prior to that event, let's say at 1:45 or 1:55, maybe 5 minutes before there or 15 minutes before that. And then you can say that you have something new happening, and would the users like to know more about that? And those people who say yes, you can give them more information about the event. And those people who say no, you should stop and not talk anymore. Okay, that's how you should do. So that's one way. Just kind of right before the event, you try to talk with them. Another better way, and it's better most of the time, although it really depends. In some situations, you just want to send a broadcast few minutes before the event. In other situations, you want to send a broadcast one day prior to the event. And basically do the same thing, talk about the upcoming newsworthy event and ask them whether they want to know more. And those people who say they want to know more, you can invite them and say they would like a reminder when the event starts, right? Again, give them option. If they want the reminder, they can choose, or if they can choose not to be reminded. So let me show you how we might do. So this is ManyChat interface. We have been using this to build the bot so far. And I have a Facebook page named TestBot that I have hooked up. And on the left-hand column, I'm going to go to broadcasts. I'll see this page, and I am going to use the top right corner blue button, new broadcast. So in this example, let's say we have an event happening and we are sending this broadcast just few minutes prior to the event. Let's use that as an example. So we can say something like, so I will name it as a news announcement. I'm going to say something like, hey, first name Then we can, so first, like I said earlier, we want to talk about what's the newsworthy item, right? Think of that. What's the newsworthy item? And you can say that um, recently people in, so I'm kind of, I am assuming that I'm assuming that the business owner, if you are the owner, you are trying to say that um, recently there was an interest about a topic in a group or in a discussion, um, and there is an event about that topic. So that's what I'm trying to kind of capture here. So bear with me 1 second as I try to phrase this correctly. Okay, so recently there has been discussions in social media about the data privacy issues that are ongoing. Is this topic of interest to you, right? So I am not talking about the event specific. I'm just talking about like something happening recently. Like I said earlier, what's the newsworthy item here? So recent discussions in social media about data privacy issues, right? Something going on recently. So this can be anything. It's something your business related or something that has to do about current affairs. And I'm just asking whether they want to learn more. I mean, some people might be fed up with the ongoing discussions, and they might not be interested, right? So we definitely want to give them that choice. We don't want to force upon like our agenda that we want to invite them. And then I'm going to switch top right corner to Flow Builder. And I'm going to add, so I'm asking a question and I'm giving them two responses, two possible responses, yes and no, right? So this is, hopefully if you've been following other videos, then you know that for each message that bot sends out, bot always tries to give a mechanism, provide a mechanism where user can respond in the form of either buttons or text input. We are going to primarily focus on buttons because those are easy to implement, but in some cases you want to use text input and not just use buttons. For this case, I'm just going to use buttons, right? So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to define another button that says no. Right below the message, you have this add button option. You click on that, and that'll pop up the button editor, which you can use to define the button. So whenever you define a button, like this is a yes button, you have to attach an action, and there will be a message. In this case, we'll use a message. Those people who say yes, we are going to tell them about our event. I am going live on Facebook at 2 p.m. to talk about implications of data privacy issues on your Facebook marketing efforts. Okay, I just came up with something. Following is a link to join. Because the event is going to happen very soon, you just want to give them the link to join. It doesn't make sense to remind unless the message is like far advanced of the actual event. In this case, I assume that you are just sending this few minutes prior to the event, then it makes sense to just send them the link, right? So then I'm going to send a link here, say add the button, join Facebook Live, a button title that's relevant, and I'm going to select open website, and then it gives this option of website address. That's where I can put the link. So if you have a Facebook Live scheduled, then you can have a link that you can pick up and put it here, or you can just send them to your profile page, business page, or Facebook group, wherever you are doing live, right? So give them the link where they can go to the event. Basically, that's what I'm suggesting. And then I'm going to zoom out so that I can see. So I asked the generic question. Those who said yes, I gave them the option. I talked about the details of the event. I gave them the option to join the event. Those who said no, I'm going to again define a message. I'm going to send them a message, and I'm going to say, okay, I understand. Basically, you want to acknowledge that they are not interested and not continue to kind of linger on, right? Like, that's cool, I understand, it's all good. So, cool, right? And I'm going to stop, that's it. I'm going to use this auto arrange steps. So it shows me I have two options, and I'll do go next. So here you can always put conditions on who you want to send the broadcast message. You can basically select the targeting of broadcast message. So out of all your followers, who do you want to send the broadcast, right? So here you will see targeting, and if you click on the condition, you will see that you can choose. Let me scroll down. You can choose based on the tag, the label, or how they opted in, or which sequence they are subscribed to, as well as their gender, the location, the language, time zone, full name, etc. Right? So there are so many options. So there is a set of parameters which are publicly available from Facebook profile. We can target them based on that, or we can target them based on how they opted into the bot subscription, or whether they are opted into a sequence subscription. So hopefully in future I'll kind of dig deeper and talk more about that, but I wanted to show you that it's that's something you can use. Now let's look at this message type. There are three types of messages here: the subscription broadcast, promotional broadcast, and follow-up broadcast. So if by default the subscription broadcast is selected, it says subscription broadcast messages can't contain ads or promotional material, but can be sent at any time regardless of time passed since last user activity. So I highly encouraged you to pay attention to all of this, because that's where Facebook is becoming much stricter now, because people were abusing the broadcast messages. They would send, like, anytime they wanted to promote something, they would send broadcast messages, and that's not necessarily a good user experience, right? You don't want to be bombarded with promotional broadcast offers on your messenger. So so there are three types of broadcast messages: subscription, promotional, and follow-up. So subscription broadcast can be sent anytime, but it cannot contain ads, advertising, or promotional material, right? So it can only be one of those three types, the news and other two. Like, I don't have on the top of my head, but I'm planning on doing a separate video about those three items. But mainly, you cannot advertise anything, you cannot have anything on sale, or you cannot even promote anything. That includes promoting your live event. You cannot promote your event here. there has been some confusion. Some people think that if you have a free live event, then you can like invite people or promote that, right? When you invite people that, hey, join my free live event, you're promoting your free live event. And I have seen that, some people got warning messages, or some people were banned because of that. So you don't want to do that. So that's why I was suggesting that first just talk about the generic topic and ask whether they're interested anymore or not. And I would be again very careful with that. But one good thing about subscription broadcast is, as long as you are not doing any of the promotion or advertising, it's just whether you're teaching something, whether you are talking about current affairs, whether you're talking about some news item, then you can send. And I understand there is a fine line. Your event is a news item. So someone might argue that, okay, it's really a newsworthy item that I'm doing a live, or I'm having an event. Why can I not just promote that? I mean, why can I not just start talking about it? And that's something you will have to be careful, and you can experiment, but I would be conservative, and what I would do is I would not talk about the event or live in the first message. I would only talk about the higher level topic subject matter, and then ask them whether they have any interest in that subject matter or not. So the other two types of broadcasts are promotional and follow-up. So let's click on that. I just clicked on the promotional broadcast type. Here it says promotional broadcast messages can contain ads and promotional materials, but can only be sent to subscribers who were active in past 24 hours. If a subscriber was active within past 24 hours, then you can send them an advertisement, or you can promote, or you can make offers. You can offer them something for sale. Only if the user was active within the last 24 hours. So what we are doing is your actual live event, I'm just assuming that we are talking about a Facebook Live that you're going to do. It doesn't have to be. Let's assume that you really want to invite people to Facebook Live, right? And what I suggested was, you don't mention Facebook Live in first message. You only talk about how the kind of the current affairs or recent events led you to have that Facebook Live, right? There is a reason why you're doing Facebook Live, and that most likely it has something to do with some kind of newsworthy event. Very likely, may not necessarily be. So just talk about that. And when I send that initial message that there is discussions about data privacy issues going on in social media, do you want to learn more? I was just gauging out of all the subscribers who want to become active with that message, with that subject matter, who has interest. And those people who are interested will respond to that message. And once they respond to that message, they now have become active subscriber. And to those people, I can send promotional broadcast. And that is my next message, which is, I have a live event that I'm doing, and would you like to join or not? So hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, ask me questions. And the third type is the follow-up broadcast. So I'm going to read that again. After the end of the 24-hour window, you have an ability to send one follow-up message to these recipients. After that, you won't be able to send them ads or promotional messages until they interact with you again. So the thing is, this 24-hour window is a bit quirky. You have one exception, that you can send one more promotional message after the 24-hour window. So let's say user was active, user was talking with your bot, and then user stopped talking with the bot. So once After the last interaction with the bot, you have 24 hours within which you can send promotions, advertisements, or offers, or things for sale. But not only that, after the 24 hours, you can send one more message which can contain ads and offers. So it's referred to as 24 plus 1 rule. This is Facebook requirements, and again, it's driven mainly from a user experience perspective. Now I don't know why they allow one more message. I'm kind of trying to learn that, and once I have a better idea, maybe I'll talk about that in a separate video. Or if you know, you can post in a comment about that, and we can discuss that. But anyways, you have the 24-hour plus 1 message that you can send. In my opinion, you always want to gauge the interest first. You don't want to talk about yourself or your events or your products or anything, especially in broadcast messages. When you're doing it out of 24-hour window, whenever the user was not active, you always want to first gauge interest. Ask a generic question that, hey, there is a reason I'm sending you, right? There's a reason I'm sending you this. I have something new, or maybe something new is happening, and whether they are really interested in learning more about that subject, that topic. And then you can talk about your events and things like that. Because once the user responds to your initial generic question, they have become active now. So hopefully that makes sense. That gives you an idea what I'm talking about. So that's message type. We are going to keep subscription broadcast because our first message is generic. You can choose targeting. For now, that details of using conditions for targeting we'll cover later in a separate video. Then you can say you want to whether send the broadcast right away or you want to schedule it for later. So you can schedule the broadcast for later also. It might be very handy, right? Because if you know that you have an event happening later, you can just schedule, you can batch your broadcasts and schedule them out. So that can be very helpful. And then there are time zone settings. Send all at same time. Either you can send everyone the broadcast at the same time. So all your recipients, no matter which time zone they live in, they all get the broadcast at the same time. Now imagine, right, if you have your audience, your followers all around the world, then you don't want to do that, because some people, you can, but you have to be careful. You have to think through that. You don't want to send messages to people who are sleeping in the middle of the night. But sometimes it might make sense for you to send to all of them at once. The other option is called time travel, and this is where the messages will be delivered at the same daytime according to user's time zone. So this will be delivered at the same time but according to their local time zone. So this might be kind of more useful. You can imagine, right? Like everyone gets, no matter which time zone they are, they get the message at the same time. Although with the events, this may not work, or you might have to do it like well in advance, right? Because now your messages will be staggered, or trying to cover the different time zones, and you want to make sure that the staggering kind of happens, that the full kind of the width or the breadth of the staggering window is before the event, so that the people don't get the message after the event, in case you are trying to talk about an event. The third one is limit sending time. So it says message will be delivered as soon as possible once user's daytime in his current time zone matches desired delivery hours. Please note that in this case it can take from 0 up to 24 hours to deliver all messages. Limit sending time from, okay, so you can limit the time window, because here there is a from and to option. You can limit the local time window, You can just send them at a specific local time, or you can have a time window basically. Well, I'm not sure when you'll use this. I've never used it. And maybe in future, if I see a need, then I can talk more about that. Then there are two types of notifications. Regular push notification will make a sound and display a phone notification. Use it for important messages. So this is the regular notification. If user has turned off notification on their local device, then they won't see this. But assuming user has the notifications turned on for their messenger, they will see this notification about the broadcast. So anytime you send a message to Messenger, this is something you must have experienced, you will see a notification. So you can have either regular, only one regular notification. This broadcast will trigger only one regular notification, and the rest of it will be sent in silent mode. Great for times when you have 2+ messages in your broadcast, but don't want to send too many notifications. So this is important. Our broadcast will be sending multiple messages, right? Like there's one message, and well, it actually depends on the user's response. The second message will only be sent out if the user responds. But sometimes you might have multiple messages delayed in time. When you send a broadcast, you send one message, then you wait some time, and then you send another message. I mean, there might be a reason for you to do that. In that case, this notification setting will be helpful because it won't ping user for each of that series of messages. It'll only ping for the first one, because you always want to be thinking about user experience. You don't want to annoy your users, right? Otherwise they will unsubscribe and they will leave. So just like that, you can do one or two regular notification. You can do silent push or you can do silent notification. So let's see what's the difference between silent push and silent notification. Silent push notification will display a phone notification without sound. Use it for regular messages that don't require immediate action. And silent broadcast will not display any notification. Use it for silently sending content updates. So silent push is no sound but visual notification, and just silent notification is completely no notification, no visual notification, no sound. So anyways, hopefully that was useful. I'm going to stop because we are at the half-an-hour mark. And in next video, I will talk about the other case of broadcast. We talked about two broadcast cases. One sending just the broadcast before the event. The other case is asking for them to set reminders and sending two broadcast messages for an event. One well in advance and one right before the event. Now, of course, you want to send broadcast in many other cases, not just for events. And then we'll kind of talk more about that in other videos. So thank you so much. If you join via replay, please say hello in the comment. Give me feedback. Tell me something, whether you like these videos, you don't like, what you want to hear more. Give me your feedback. I greatly appreciate if you let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining, and I will be back very soon. Bye.